For this video, we are learning about Chapter 1, Lesson 2, which can be found on pages 17 through 22. Our objective is I can compare and order whole numbers through the millions place. Vocabulary for this unit, greater than, less than, equal to. Our first question, when comparing, why are the numbers such as 74,321 and 73,421 sometimes confusing? Question 2, name the first step when comparing two numbers. What if the two digits are the same? What do you do? So if you first look at page 17 in your book, you can see this table that shows two of the largest oceans in the world. And they're trying to figure out which ocean has the greater area. These are each of the ocean's areas. So if we put them in the place value chart they gave us, we can compare them and line them up. So here are the two numbers put into the place value chart. And we can see our next step would be to begin at the greatest place. So that would be our tens million place value. So looking at that, we can see the Pacific Ocean has a 6 and the Atlantic Ocean has a 3 in that place value. So then we compare those two. 6 is greater than 3. So therefore, our greater area is the Pacific Ocean. On page 21, it shows another important part of this lesson, which is ordering the numbers from least to greatest. So it gives a list of numbers, and the first step in this would be to line them up. So line the numbers up, make sure that your commas line up so that these numbers do have the same amount of numbers in them, they're in the tens millions place. But if they weren't, you had to make sure that they were lined up. So then you would start by comparing the first digit to the left like we did before. So in this time we're looking from least to greatest. So we're looking for the smallest in the 10 millions place. And that would be the 5. So as it says over here, 5 is less than 8. So 58,285,671 is the least. And you would do the same thing for the next numbers. And this gets a little trickier because in their 10 million digit, they all have 8s. So you would just move to the next digit. Our next least digit would be the 0. So 80,301,785 would be our next least, as you can see down here when they're listed from least to greatest. And you would continue that process. So a way you can try this at home would be to draw a table like our place value chart and compare the two numbers. So if we're comparing these two numbers, I would just put these numbers into my chart and line them up and then compare. So my first number is 1,783,654. And my next number is 1,785,899. So now I'm going to go to the left side and compare that first digit. The 1s, they're the same, so I'm going to move to my next digit. 7s are the same, next digit. 8s are the same, next digit. And the 5 is greater than the 3. So my greater number would be 1,785,899. Now let's look back at our questions and think back to the video or go back to those pages in your textbook and think about question 1, why are these numbers confusing sometimes? And then think about question 2, what is our first step when we compare two numbers like that? And what if those two digits are the same, those first ones we looked at? We had a few like that, so go back in the video and look at those if you need to.